All right, let's get into this. Let's bring that music down. Welcome guys back to the CFO Swinger Watch Reports live stream since it's Monday. As you guys already know by now, or hopefully you guys know by now, I'll be going over the tickers in this week's CFO Swinger Watch Report and kind of hone in on some other tickers that I may be looking at for the rest of this week. All right, so hey, thank you guys for the likes. Before I even begin, I see some likes here. Awesome. I know who's just joining in. Make sure you guys smash that like button down below. And if you guys aren't subscribed yet, well, hopefully I can earn your subscription on this channel by the end of this stream. All right, so first of all, let me quickly go over the markets here. So today was essentially yet another market day where it's been kind of strange. I can't lie about that. It's been kind of strange where hey, thank you guys for 5 likes. Awesome. We're starting to see the VIX, right? So the VIX futures, especially. I've been looking at VIX futures and obviously VIX, but VIX futures has been slowly climbing up higher today, and this kind of overall quote-unquote bottoming action from the VIX is a little bit concerning to me in the near-term future, because you know, I want to see market gaps up being held. But today on SPY, right, we decided to pull back, right, and start to fill in the gap since open. And so for me, that is the first initial kind of red flag here. It's not even a warning sign. I think this is a clear red flag at this point, that we're starting to see more and more of these instances in the trading days where we see VIX futures, or just the VIX moving higher with the markets, or the VIX starting to, you know, kind of base out as the markets, you know, still make higher highs and higher lows. So, you know, it's a process, right? Because again, topping out processes or distribution phases can last a long time, and these distribution phases can be happening under the hood where we can't see it occurring in front of our eyes, right? And so, you know, it's always that one single event or one catalyst that can start really sending the markets to the downside and have the markets roll over, and sending the VIX to the skies, right? And expanding, well, not expanding, but we start to see volatility expansion. And that's something that I think it's going to be very critical to understand and to look at for the next couple of weeks, especially this month, right? This month and all the up into possibly into November as well. And obviously, based on what I've said in the report this week in the market summary section, you guys should know what that means. So make sure you guys go read the CFO Swinger Watch Report if you haven't yet. I don't know why you wouldn't have yet before you have traded today on Monday, or before you've joined this stream. But again, you know, I think hey, what's up, man? He said, hi bro, how is PRCT? Thank you. Yes, I'll go over that after all the tickers here. Okay, so, and that's actually a good one, since I have a half position on PRCT. I have yet to have a full-on position using equity, but I will be letting you know a little bit of updates and what I personally think about that company very, very soon. Okay, so you know, let's you know, based on what I've said so far there, let's go over the tickers from this week's list. So just like last week, we did not have an official swing trade idea for this week's report, because of the fact that last week was such a long report, right? We had a plethora of tickers to go over every single trading day of last week, and so I really wanted to make sure that this one was a very short and concise one, where we can really just laser focus on a couple of tickers from last week, and obviously the tickers from this week. And I also made sure that a lot of tickers for this week were similar, and the fact that, well, we are looking at a lot of software, specifically cybersecurity stocks, right? So ZS, right? So obviously the title of the stream is ZS, right? The underrated cybersecurity stock, Zscaler. And I think there's a good chance that we can see Zscaler, you know, heading up to 300s, back to 300 actually. So the all-time high price print for ZS was, if I go back here, I think, no, yeah, right here. About to say, I knew I wasn't hallucinating or something. But yeah, so the all-time high price print for ZS is sitting at 376.11. All right, so $376.11. And so if ZS is actually, underperforming its peers and the overall software / cybersecurity group, then there's a good chance that we can at least see a new all-time high price print, whether it be very close to 400 or it does hit 400 in the next couple of months into next year. And again, I'm gonna go over some of the fundamentals that I've looked at for ZS with you guys in a few short minutes here. But I just wanted to give you guys from a technical perspective as to the reasons why we are looking at this name this week. So ZS, first of all, let me just read this right here, right? So this is exactly what I wrote in the report. So I said the momentum is clearly starting to come in here with these higher highs and higher lows, and it's starting to ride on top of my daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs, and it's also back over the daily 50 SMA. So that's great, right? As it just broke a key level of $263.50 last Friday, around this last Friday's candlestick. And this is a key level of contest that bulls were able to break over and close over, so it brings more confidence to me that we can start to see this ticker catch up to its peers, which is what I just said a couple minutes ago. And I also love the fact that the price has formed a nice rounded bottom chart pattern without fully filling in the earnings gap up area from May 30th, so right here. So it got really close, but it still held up that gap up area. So that's how you know that buyers are willing to defend the overall price action and reaction that we saw from this earnings reaction. And it's literally telling me that yes, we want the price to stay above at this specific level, right? At least staying above the earnings gap up, because it deserves to be above this gap up, right, area. So I love the fact that it's defended this area, and the fact that it has made a nice support level around 268.50. Okay, so now there is a lot of supply overhead until 316.50 through 317, but if we can absorb all of that supply from this point forward, there could be new all-time highs into the end of the year for this ticker, and obviously maybe nearing 400 or at 400 by let's say middle of next year. Okay, so this is the major technical reasons why I think ZS has a lot of potential to continue to move up higher this week and into the end of this year. But now, let me show you guys ZS from a fundamental perspective. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, I love to use Koifin here. Oh, well, if I'm able to bring it back. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I like to use Koifin here to look at the general fundamental metrics that I like to use when I'm talking about the basic fundamental analysis. Just a very quick review and view of the company as to how they're doing. All right, so ZS, I have this is kind of my it is my own filtered out template here for Zscaler for fundamental metrics, and I even named it fundamental financials here. I made this a couple maybe months ago, I think. No, I made this last year. Yeah, I started using Koifin last year. I really like how Koifin looks. So, but yeah, so Zscaler, first of all, the number one thing that I really liked was it's positive, it's consistently positive FCF or free cash flow, and it's by quarter, right? So to me, this just tells me that, hey, this company is financially sound. They know what they're doing. They have a good cash runway as well, obviously. And it's just positive, right? It's very good to see a positive free cash flow. That's it, right? And the next thing that really caught my eye was the total cash and short-term investments. All right, cash and ST investments is huge, right? And it continues to increase every single quarter. And I love to see that in the company, right? Where they continue to build up and try to be financially sound. And so, or I guess stable. And the reason why I say that is that, well, if you take a look at the number here for cash and short-term investments, it's at $3.57 billion in the most recent quarterly report, right? Earnings report. And if I compare it to the total debt, right? It's still monumentally larger than the total amount of debt of $1.8 billion. Now, I am a little bit concerned about this big jump from quarter 2 to quarter 3. However, again, I'm just taking a look at these two metrics, right, and comparing these two, right, and I like what I see. Okay. However, when I go back to the gross profit margin, right, I don't like how it's been decreasing, right? I don't like how we've hit kind of a new low that we haven't seen since I think back in 2020, right? However, okay, this tech cybersecurity company, this software company, it still has a gross profit margin of over 50%, and whenever I see a company that has a gross profit margin of over 50%, that's good enough for me, right? But for a company that has been staying over 50% for quite some time, I just don't like it when I start to see this kind of decline in the gross profit margin. Yes, it might seem minimal, right, compared to for example, back in back in the second quarterly earnings for back in the second quarterly earnings report, they had a gross profit margin of 78.73%. But and you might be saying, wait a second, that's not that bad from the current gross profit margin that Zscaler has, right? It's at 76.23. But again, it's about the trend, right? And I tend to look at the trend even when I'm focusing on the fundamental metrics, like these basic ones that I tend to look at for a quick overview of how the company is doing, right? So, to me, this could be a little bit concerning. And I'll put it in the back of my head. I'll try to remember that this has been occurring in this company. But overall, the fundamental metrics is pretty sound. Their balance sheet is looking okay, right? It's all right. All right, it's not the best that's out there compared to the other companies that I've seen so far. Other software and or cybersecurity tech stocks, or just really just growth companies that are really focused on growth, right? But again, Zscaler, I think it's just one of those eggs that you need to have, right? You just need to have in your portfolio, in your basket of cybersecurity stocks, right? So, hey, what did you say here? Simo, you said been yes since 160s. You get it? No. So I actually, I think I missed out on this. Yeah. So I was trying to, so I played it for a brief moment, a couple of days. I don't think I even held it for a week, but for a quick swing trade back here. So you got it around at the break of, I'm assuming here. Alright, so see, this was an idea that I gave back in 2023, I think. Yeah, in the middle of 2023, right? But I didn't even take this idea. Long over 163, and I would have been pretty close to your entry point, Simo. 160s there. But yeah, this one I completely overlooked it. I think I was too focused on something else in 2023. This was right at the bottom. I think I was a bit more focused on the overall broader markets, because this is when I called out the literally perfect bottoming of the overall stock market from the transition of October to November. And I think I gave you guys that prediction and analysis, I guess, back in like July, like late July or early August, somewhere around there. So yeah, so anyways, ZS completely missed out at the 160s here, even though I did have that game plan worked out. But hey, I was able to have a nice swing trade around here at the break of 203. But now I'm looking at this again, right? So this thing is still heading up higher, right? And it still has not yet revisited the previous all-time high price print, which is where I'm aiming at for the short to mid-term time frame. And obviously for the longer term, I really wish it can hit $400 here, right? That's over 100 points from now on, right? From this current closing price for today, right? Obviously it did hit over $300 today at the high today of, what is it, 300.81. So if we had closed at this high of the day today, I'll be a bit more confident in saying that I think it can be seeing another 100 point gainer from this $300 price, right? But again, overall, the technicals, the fundamentals just line up perfectly in my opinion, guys. And I think it's just been a solid cybersecurity stock that I don't think a lot of people are really trying to look into. I know a lot of people are much more involved with, you know, CrowdStrike, which is obviously I would say it is the leader, right? It's the leader of cybersecurity stocks, right? Crowd, and obviously like stuff like Cloudflare, right? Net, ticker symbol NET. That's another very good cybersecurity stock, right? So yeah, I like an all-time high break on ZS. Yeah. And you've been buying CRM recently. Yeah, nice. So, you know, so ZS is one of the reasons why I added into the first ticker in my list for this week's CFO Swinger Watch report. Okay, and again, this is just, I use Koifin, and this is my own filtering template that I have that I named the fundamental financials. It's just the quick overview I like to look at for any companies. I just want a quick snapshot of a company's fundamental financials, or just the overall fundamental metrics, and I take a look at these four. Right, it just gives me a very quick overview and summary of how the company is doing. Okay, you guys can just literally follow this. Okay, and I don't know why I have this. I think I removed this a long time ago. I don't know why I don't need this anymore. But I look at these four. Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to you know, take a screenshot of this, if you guys want to take a look at maybe try using Koifin, yeah, and you guys might want to use this type of filter here. Okay. Of this template, then go right ahead, right? This is public information of every single publicly traded company out there. So, you know, and Koifin does a great job of filtering them out and giving you guys options as to what fundamental metric you guys want to use. So again, these are the four that I like to use, all right, for a very quick snapshot and summary of the company. That's it, okay? Obviously, I do a little bit of a deeper dive in my CFO Swinger Watch Report whenever I have these specific swing trade ideas for every single report. But again, this week we did not have it because again, I wanted a very short and concise report where we just look at the overall markets more compared to individual tickers. But again, we do a nice balance of both, right? Okay, so with that being said, you know, I think again, ZS has a lot more room to at least go back to the all-time high price print, so at least around 360 to 370s. Okay, or if you guys want a wider range, a nice 20-point range, 350 to 370s, that's completely fine. I might even be looking at opening up a vertical debit spread for next year or next year's expiration dates, and look for strikes at 370 and 350. So I'm most likely going to sell 370 and buy 350 call contracts to create that vertical debit spread. Or even just use a butterfly spread, but I want to do that. A vertical debit spread has a lot more potential here, right? Especially if this is truly an underrated cybersecurity stock that I really, again, my own opinion is that I think it is, right? Just from a fundamental and technical perspectives, right? Okay, so with that being said, I want to go over the next ticker from this week's list, which is Snow. So yet another software company. Now this isn't exactly a cybersecurity stock. It is a platform that can give a lot of resources and just the foundation to build cybersecurity applications. But this is a cloud-based software company, and Snow has really been it's not really lagging compared to the overall markets, but it is a pretty big laggard. Out of all the major cybersecurity and software leaders out there. Because of why? Well, just take a look at the monthly or the weekly time frame charts. Right? I mean, this one has been basing for years, right? I even said it here. So if anyone wants to pause the stream here and then just read this, go ahead. Right? I mean, I just gave a very quick summary as to what I'm seeing on a technical perspective for this ticker in the list for this week. So go right ahead, right? So again, I think Snow has a lot of potential as well this week on the daily time frame here, and the weekly time frame too, with a very nice flag that's forming here after that nice power move from post earnings here, right? So yeah, Snow is in a clear breakout from earnings. Yes, so I really love this tight range that is forming at the upper ranges that were created from this earnings candlestick, right? This weekly earnings candlestick, and you see how ever since this earnings week candlestick was printed, the current 5 weekly candlesticks, including this week, has been getting tighter and tighter at the upper range of the overall top to bottom range that has been formed on this earnings weekly candlestick, right? So this to me, it just oozes like bullish momentum and sentiment, which is again the reason why I have put this in the list, the momentum mentions list, from a higher time frame perspective. Now, I've also put in the report that we should really be focusing on the higher time frames as well. I've preached this for years, for the past, ever since Charts Focus 1 was established back in 2021, right? I said that whenever we start to head into the fourth quarter of any fiscal year, or at least into the end of any year, any fiscal year, we need to focus on the higher time frames, because it can really give us a good idea as to what group or what sectors are strong heading into a new year, or at least into the last quarter of any fiscal year. And also it gives us a better perspective as to what stocks can really, what individual stocks can have the most amount of movement into the end of this year, right? And again, what usually happens at the end of each fiscal year, especially for hedge funds and institutions, right? They're either doing tax loss harvesting, or they're trying to play catch up, or at least heading into the new year, they want to show their investors, their relative investors, that they are in, good stocks, right? I mean, that's a real thing, right? I've been fortunate enough to be indirectly and directly, I guess, not experienced, but indirectly and directly being involved in some institutions. That's all I would say. and they really do want to buy stocks that they haven't been able to catch in any given quarter of any fiscal year, and so they want to show their investors that, hey, we're finally getting onto the hype train of whatever individual stock that has been running for this entire year, and they want to show that before the end of the fiscal year. So they wanted to show on the fourth quarterly holdings, right? Their holdings list. And so, I think that's a major reason why. It's a huge major reason why that since the last half of quarter 3, I've been telling my CFO Swinger Watch Report readers that I think it's a good time to be really starting to slowly shift your attention and focus onto laggards. Right, laggards, lagging sectors, lagging groups, right, or just individual stocks that have been lagging compared to their peers or leaders within their specific sectors or groups. Does that make sense, guys? Give me some reactions in the chat room down below, if that makes sense. Right? So, there you go. I see them there. Thank you, guys. Okay, so so based on what I said there, right? Snowflake can definitely be a contender for that, right? Where they think that it's either hasn't seen a bunch of a bullish action this entire year compared to its peers, right? When we're considering the current AI revolution that's occurring right now, maybe they think that Snowflake hasn't seen a good valuation yet, because again, Snowflake is also trying to catch up and keep up. Most importantly, keep up with the AI revolution that's happening with every single sector. I've stated this multiple times last year. I think it was late 2023 that the AI revolution can start to change every single industry and every single sector. So, I think Snowflake really just has a lot of potential for hedge funds to start piling in at the end of this year, at least the fourth quarter, just to show that, hey, we're starting to focus more onto these laggards, which again makes sense. It just makes sense to me, and it's one of those things that really allows me to stay stay very, very present with how the markets are moving and very present with where money is flowing, especially with big money, right? Big smart money, as they like to call it. And so, you know, I think Snowflake's a very good contender for the end of this year, and obviously a very good name to be looking at as a momentum mentions ticker, right? Which is the reason why I have it in this week's MM list. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so yeah, so these two are the software stocks / tech companies that I really want to take a look at for this live stream and just go over from the MM list for this week's CFO Swinger Watch Report. And for anyone who is just watching the stream right now, and you guys don't have any idea what I'm talking about, or you have no clue as to what the CFO Swinger Watch Report is, make sure you guys check in the description box down below. It's the second link. You guys can click on it and just take a look at the link on the website, and you guys can find a lot of good information as to what the report is, what it can do for you and your trading journey and your trading portfolios, especially if you are a swing trader or a long-term investor, since the report is mostly geared towards those type of investors. However, as I've always been saying, right, all of my trade ideas that I put in the CFO Swinger Watch Report does not only cater to swing traders or investors, right? You guys can always use my trade ideas as day trading ideas, and they work. Okay, I have a lot of day traders in my community of readers and in the private CFO Discord community as well, and they like to use the ideas that I have as day trades too, and they work. Okay, so again, please don't think that just because of the fact that this report is called the CFO Swinger Watch Report, again, Swinger Watch, right, a little emphasis on the Swinger Watch terms there, it does not mean that it's only for swing traders. All right, you guys can most definitely use them as day trade ideas. Why? Because again, I choose high quality setups and high quality names. All right. Okay, so last but not least, we also have GTLB in this week's MM list. And this one has a lot of interesting perspective. It looks very similar to Snow, right? Ticker symbol SNOW. So GitLab or JitLab, whatever you guys want to, however you guys want to say it. Okay, or ticker symbol GTLB is looking very similar. Obviously, it looks a lot weaker right now, but from a time frame and technical perspective, this one has been basing since 2022, just like Snowflake or Snow, right? So the fact that we have a combined analysis on this with options activity, again, and the options activity that I've pointed out on this ticker, on this specific idea, this MM list ticker trade idea, is in the report itself. So again, if you guys want to know exactly what those are, and again, let me repeat this, every single MM list ticker is an additional idea to the main swing trade idea in the CFO Swinger Watch Report. But it's not just the analysis that I provide in every single MM list ticker, like as shown here, but it's also the added on option contracts that I put for each and every single MM list ticker, right? And so if you guys want to know what the option contracts that I'm looking at for ZS, for SNOW, and for GTLB, make sure you guys become readers of the CFO Swinger Watch Report. And again, you guys can just simply look at the second link down below in the description box, and you guys will see that you guys can choose whatever tier you guys want to choose to subscribe and become a reader of the CFO Swinger Watch Report. And again, as an addition, okay, you guys will gain full access to the private CFO Discord chat room as well. Okay, so for two for one, right? A 2 for 1, a 2 for 1, right? You get the report and you become a full private member of the private CFO Discord chat room. Okay, so GTLB, another huge tech laggard that I'm taking a look at. And I have been looking at this one since, well, I think it was 3 weeks ago at this point now, including this week. Or, okay, yeah, 3 weeks ago, right? And so I still have not triggered this and executed this into a new position. So I'm still watching this week, and I think it's a good idea to watch this for the next couple of months, especially into the end of this year, because there's a lot of call options activity, especially, a little hint here, leaps, excuse me, I don't know why I said lips. Leaps, okay? Leaps option contracts are getting some, they're getting some activity. They're getting some activity, okay? All right. Okay, so with that being said, let me actually go over your guys' request here. So I'll go over PRCT and then CRM after that, okay? So PRCT, so now let me give you guys my official update, a little updating on PRCT. So PRCT was one of the official swing trade ideas in the CFO Swinger Watch Report. I think, what is it, 2 weeks ago? It might be 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Either way, I did do a live stream, a Monday live stream on PRCT. Yeah, it was a Monday stream, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks ago. I really want to confirm this, guys, so give me a short few seconds here. Give me a few seconds here, guys. Yes, yeah. So September 15th, so on this week, right here. Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I did a quick 30+ minute stream there, talking about the tickers from that week's CFO Swinger Watch Report, and PRCT was the official swing trade idea for that week, and also a long-term investment idea for that week too. So obviously, if you guys didn't know, I bought into PRCT at 37.10, and since then I have added another amount of shares, another lot of shares here, and it's still a pretty light position for me. I'm not in a full position just yet. The reason being is that, well, as I've highlighted in the stream 2 weeks ago and also in the report itself, there's still a good chance that PRCT could possibly head back down to $26. So, you know, that's the reason why I gave 2 entry points there. Again, these are very, very far away from each other here, obviously. 37 and 26 are very, very, there's a huge difference. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So I really wouldn't blame you guys if you guys don't want to get in at $37, and you might just want to wait until we hit possibly $26. But I am taking that risk first. I've added a good amount so far. It's still a light position, but I would say it's a good amount as a starter, especially as a starter, around $37. And I think my, let me see, what is my average here? Yeah, my average is now at $36.78. All right, so only a few cents away from $37.10. So again, if we ever go back down to $26.10, and if we pivot there, I'm literally gonna buy a crap ton more at $26.10. Okay, and you guys should know why. I give you guys the full top to bottom analysis on PRCT from a fundamental perspective and from a technical perspective as well. So make sure you guys go back to the report from 2 weeks ago on the week of September 15th and make sure you guys read it, okay? To give you guys a reminder as to the reasons why I think PRCT is severely undervalued. It's a very severely undervalued biotech slash surgical robot company. Okay, it's more of a surgical robot company, not really a biotech. But again, you guys can say whatever you guys want for the company, as long as you guys understand that it's in that general area. I guess of expertise for this company, right? Okay, so PRCT, that's a quick update. I will add a lot more shares at $26, especially maybe in the upcoming earnings for its fourth quarter earnings. Maybe we have a nice gap down again, or a nice push down like we saw back here, right? Oh, there it is, right? And so, you know, who knows, right? But if it does get down to 26, you guys know what I'm doing. Just like that, like a snap, I will be buying a crap ton of shares to give me a full position. Okay? Alright, so with that being said, Simo, if you're still here, let me take a look at CRM. So you said you've been buying CRM, so Salesforce here. So CRM has also been a huge laggard, you know, as regarding, you know, its peers, and obviously the overall AI hype hasn't really been able to grace this stock, just like with ZS. Well, not ZS, but just like with Snow, right? SNOW, right? But fortunately, I think Salesforce, the overall sentiment and narrative on this company is starting to shift just a little bit. I'm still seeing the initial bearish sentiment. My apologies, Simo, but I do have a bearish thesis on CRM, and the reasons why I think it hasn't been able to really do much this entire year, especially after bottoming out in April. Well, April's right back here, but look where we're at now, right? We even broke below April's lows back in August, and we're still stuck kind of in the mid-range of that official weekly bottoming April candlestick, right? So first of all, let me just go over my initial bearish sentiment and thesis as to the reasons why I think Salesforce has been it's just been bogged down by short sellers for this entire year, okay? So first of all, well, not even first of all, I think this is the main reason. So CRM, the CEO himself came out and said that this company is basically, I think it was a half of the company's activities, or was it over half? I forgot. He said a specific percentage a few months ago. But either way, he said that a large portion of the company's business activities and just the overall of how the company operates day by day is now being, you know, run by AI, right? So AI is doing a lot of the workload, and I think from a short seller's perspective, I think that's telling the market here. I'm just trying to choose my words carefully here, since I know there's a lot of bullish investors out there for CRM. And again, I really want CRM to work out too. But so what I'm trying to say here is that I think based on that statement from the CEO himself, I think short sellers are just thinking that, you know, Salesforce is not that valuable at this current valuation, just because of that, right? And they need to have some sort of a shift in the overall company, as in maybe firing a lot of its employees, maybe, which is, again, a horrible thing to say, obviously. But again, Salesforce is in a very high volatile industry of the labor market, or area of the labor market, or the jobs market, where, again, well, if you guys didn't know, I don't know why you guys wouldn't know, but the tech landscape when it comes to jobs is very, very volatile, right? It's a very short-term position that you can potentially have, because you guys can be easily fired right away, right? Even if you've been at the company for a year or two, or even 3 years, right? You guys can be discarded like leaves in fall, right? Falling from a tree. I don't know. I don't know what type of analogy I'm using there, but you know, it's interesting to me that Salesforce hasn't really put out a mass layoff plan after the CEO. I don't know if I have not seen any news of that yet. If there was, oh well, there's insider trading here. All right, yeah. So Mark Benioff. So he said that, and I don't think I've seen any layoff plans from Salesforce. So, you know, I think if they were to announce some sort of a layoff plan, which is, again, it's horrible. But again, if a large portion of their business is being operated and run by AI, I mean, sure, that's great. Maybe the company is saving a lot of money. That's great. I'm pretty sure they are. But, you know, I think from a Wall Street perspective, it's not as bullish as people would have thought when the CEO said that. Obviously, just based on how the price has been moving. So, anyways, that's essentially, that's kind of my initial thought process that I've had for Salesforce here for quite some time now. And I think we can see that that sentiment and overall perspective pivoting towards a more positive outlook, especially as we head into the new year and to the end of the quarter here as well. Since, again, if I use the same logic, if I use the same quote unquote analysis that I provided earlier, as to what we should always be expecting to see, or at least preparing to see into the end of the quarter of any fiscal year or any given fiscal year, you know, we should be focusing on the overall higher time frames from a technical perspective, and also just focusing on big laggards, especially in leading groups, right? So, for example, again, like the overall tech sector, where CRM is in, it is a huge laggard compared to its peers, right? And so, you know, I think this one may be worth my time, possibly by the end of this year, or possibly in the early innings of next year. But we have to see. Okay, my initial thesis on kind of my own sentiment that I've just explained to you guys hasn't changed too much. But yet again, my thoughts and my overall sentiment on this company can, again, shift just like that, right? And we might be seeing a very nice bottoming price action happening right now, right? And I mean, this action right here for the last couple of weeks could very much be a very good bottoming action, where we've continued to uphold this weekly 200 SMA as a major area of support, or a major area of SMA support. But then again, if you take like the monthly time frame, right? There could be a possibility of forming a nice macro head and shoulders chart pattern. Who knows, right? But then again, if you were to make a nice right shoulder here, right? Because it's the left shoulder here, right? If you guys don't see it, right, here it is. Okay, and obviously this is the head. You know, let me just draw it out. How about that? Oops. All right, so we have the left shoulder here, and then the head, and then potentially, if you were to reverse higher here, maybe we can see a nice short-term intermittent right shoulder being formed, and then we head back down, right? And then we see a major downtrend shift, right? But again, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe this right shoulder leads into a new uptrend, which I really hope it happens. But just based off of what I've seen so far on the price action and what the CEO has said himself, I am not fully convinced just yet. Okay, so Simo, that's my current stance and position. I'm sure you disagree with me there, but that's fine. These type of discourse and disagreements is what moves the markets, right? That's the reason why we have the bid and ask spread. So very good choice tonight from Simo to be looking at CRM. So hopefully, if you are you're in CRM, you've been moving money, right? I think so. You've been buying CRM. I think that's what you said earlier. So good luck to you. Hopefully it works out. I really hope that it really works out for you. I mean, that would be great if this one can go back, maybe back towards the 300s. That'd be awesome. I mean, that's like what? That's almost a 30. Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah. Oh no. Almost 25% move. Right? Okay. So, you know, I think, yeah, I think CRM can definitely be one of those tickers that you might want to add into your laggards watch list. Okay, and I've been telling my CFO Swinger Watch Report readers that we need to, again, slowly start to focus and put more of our energy and our attention towards laggards into the end of this year, since middle of Q3. Okay, so I highly recommend you guys to do that as well, starting now. If you guys haven't been doing so, I think it'll be very rewarding as we head into the end of this year and into next year. So make sure you guys do that. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for tonight, guys. I just wanted to give you guys kind of my own quick insight and give you guys a very quick snapshot look into Zscaler. And again, from a technical perspective, and look at this. Look at the monthly time frame. Let me just take out all my lines here. Look at this. What a beauty, right? Massive macro cup and handle here. And obviously, if you were to just, you know, maybe just not focus on the quote-unquote micro trends that are occurring in the monthly time frame, and just take a look at the entire rounded bottom here, right? There's a good chance that this rounded bottom can, at the very least, minimum, retest with the current all-time high price print sitting at $376.11 and break out higher until we reach a new all-time high price print of $400. Okay. Seeing what you said, my buy list is CRM, CZR. Oh, Caesar. Isn't that Caesar Entertainment? Right? Yeah, Caesar's Entertainment, yeah. And BVN, I haven't heard that one before. Maybe I have. No, I haven't. Oh, it's is this a international? Yeah, okay. I see. But nice, yeah. So yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, I really hope CRM long term should be fine, and hopefully it goes well with you, man. Okay, so yeah, Zscaler looks amazing. I think you guys should really keep your eye on this one. I mean, just take a look at the monthly and weekly time frames. All the HTFs here look absolutely amazing. So don't forget to look at ZS. And again, if you guys want to follow exactly what I do on Koifin, again, I take a look at this website very quickly for a quick snapshot as to how the company is doing from a fundamental and financial perspective. Again, this is my template here that I've made here. Okay, I've always looked at free cash flow, gross profit margin, cash on hand, and short-term investments, and total debt from a quarterly perspective. Okay. All right. And again, if you guys are wondering why I chose these four fundamental metrics, well, this is what I've been using. It's what I've been using for, I think, 7 years now, even though I've been in the markets for 8+ years. Okay, so I think once my first year was done after being involved with the official stock market here, I started to go into a little bit of fundamental analysis, and so this is kind of what I stuck with. Like, these four metrics just made sense to me, right? Just to have a very quick snapshot as to the company, well, how they're doing as a company, right? Okay, and guys, if you guys didn't know, I initially began trading in the crypto markets. So I've been in the crypto markets for a little over a decade now. Okay, so I initially got into crypto markets. I didn't officially trade, of course, since I was just following Bitcoin and Ethereum price action back in, I think, like early 2016. Yeah, so almost a decade, guys. Almost a decade once this year is over. My God. And then eventually, I think once 2017 came around, I think, is when I started to get a little bit more exposure to what the equity markets were doing. And so yeah, it's 8+ years, or at least 8 years of me looking at the stock market now, and I would say I'm pretty much really in tune with the market so far, and obviously I have a lot more to always learn from Mr. Market, right? And staying humble is probably the best thing to do to stay in this game for the longer term and for life. Okay, so that's my little advice for tonight, guys. But yeah, I mean that's it for tonight, guys. I really wanted to give you guys kind of my own very quick reasons as to why Zscaler and all the other tickers from this week's list, which was again ZS, ticker symbol ZS, SNOW, and GTLB, were in my list. And if you guys want the rest of the report, make sure you guys become a reader of this CFO Swinger Watch Report. Again, I've always talked about the CFO Swinger Watch Report in every single one of my videos. So make sure you guys check out the link down below. It's the second link. It's very hard to miss. It literally says the CFO Swinger Watch Report. So click on that link, check it out. And if you guys really want to see how this CFO Swinger Watch Report can change your trading journey, and I can guarantee it will change your trading journey and also change how you trade and how you look at the markets, and really just give you guys a full picture of how the markets move. Well, the report is for you, right? I can guarantee you guys that it will have a nice effect to your trading mindset, which will obviously be noticeable in your own trading accounts as well. All right. So that is it for tonight, guys. Hopefully this was a very interesting, informative, but most importantly, applicable live stream. All right. Okay, I'll see you guys on Wednesday at the same time at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for even just joining and staying on to the end of this stream. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Good luck, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your night.